first C is consistent kindness. For this particular concept, it makes me think about predictability. So when things are predictable, trust grows, feelings of safety are developed, and we feel more secure. When we're inconsistent, it really does breed uncertainty and fear, even if there is no real threat in front of us. And so for leaders, by providing consistency in how we're speaking, how we're behaving, we're actually helping to create a predictable environment where employees can feel safe and can thrive. And some of the ways that we can do this, I think about standard work and routines. This is one way that we can actually create predictable kindness. If we develop standard work and routines that are predictably kind and we follow those, that's one way that can help us. The other thing that I think about when I think of consistent kindness is because we're all humans and sometimes we have good days and we have bad days. It's so important, especially for leaders in organizations, for us to be self-aware. So checking in with ourselves before we interact with others to ensure that we're in a position where we can engage in a kind way. And sometimes that will require us taking a little bit of a pause before and filling up our own bucket first before we're able to go and be kind to others. And that's okay. We really do need to pause and check in with ourselves before moving forward.
Yes. And, Jessica, I've really been doing a huge amount of work on kindness over the last few years. And I found kindness and consistent kindness within organizations is really key and really a missing ingredient. So I don't know, when I was growing up, there was this really popular comic. I think now we'd call it a meme. But we didn't have social media then, so we didn't. But it was that the person would go to work, the employee would be at work, the boss would yell at the employee would go home and they would yell at their spouse, and then their spouse would yell at the child, and the child would kick the dog, right? And so basically the fear that and unkindness that happened at work transferred over to home. So not only did you get the feelings of being not psychologically safe at work, that transferred. And then in the book, I was talking to our friend Deandra Wardell, and she said, oh, well, that doesn't just stop there. The child goes to school, bullies the other children because they've learned that behavior. Then they grow up and they become the leader who shouts at the employee, and this terrible circle of fear is created. And just think for yourself in your own environment, if you don't have consistent behavior, because we're people and we have negativity bias hardwired into us, you're always waiting. We have the saying, waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for, we're waiting for some kind of unkindness. If you go to work and your leader is consistently kind to you, recognizes that you're a whole person, recognizes that people don't have a good day, focuses on the means, on the effort people are putting in, assumes positive intent. If you go to work, actually, we create something different now, and that's the environment you work in. We create an environment in which we have trust, where people start to think, oh, my leaders have my best interests at heart. And sometimes there's going to be difficult things, but they're going to take my needs into consideration. We're going to bring that positive trust again back home, and that's how we're going to treat our families. That's what our children are going to learn. That's going to spread out into the community. But again, it has to be consistent, because if I go to work and one day I'm treated kindly and the next day I'm treated unkindly and then one day I'm treated kindly, there is no psychological safety. I can't feel safe because I don't know what's going to be coming next. So I always have to have my guard up, right?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And it makes me think of attachment theory when working with kids and their safe person, their caregiver. It's the way that the caregiver responds to the child during times of stress. If it's inconsistent, it can actually make the child feel very, very unsafe, unsettled, which can impact their ability and to connect with others and their relationships. And so we really do want to make sure that we're providing a consistent response, even when stressed, that the people who we care for can rely on us for that consistent, kind response. That's ultimately going to set people up to be their best selves.